Hello, gentlemen, barbarians, and savages. Rooster here, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about the blue belt. Okay, the MGTOW blue belt. You've done all your white belt, yellow belt, green belt stuff. Now you're at the blue belt. Well, what does blue mean? Just like green meant stack money, blue. If you don't think about it, it basically means blue balls, buddy, because sex is over for you. No more short-term relationships. No more PUA, no more macking, no more pimping. You are going to reject short-term relationships with women. So where does that leave you as a blue belt? And what is the objective at blue belt? Well, the objective at blue belt is to become economically separated or economically independent. And you say, well, Rooster, at Greenbelt you told me to become financially independent. Yeah, I did. Financial independence and economic separation, two different things. But you have to have one before you can have the other. Here at Blue Belt, this is when your real hard MGTOW trials begin. Okay, economic separation from the gynocentric world is a very, very hard thing to do. But remember, you got to be financially independent, emotionally independent, and sexually independent before you can even get here. And that might take 10 years. That might take 15 years. That might take you 20 years to get to this point. But when you do get to this point, here's the video that's going to tell you what to do. So our idea right now is economic independence, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. So what do you have now that you have rejected women? You've rejected marriage, you've rejected long-term relationships, and now you're rejecting short-term relationships. So you have three categories where you're left in dealing with women. And that's friend zone, okay, being a beta male orbiter, or a beta orbiter, and then your biggest danger area, your biggest weakness area as a blue belt is going to be sexual harassment. Okay? So as a blue belt, these are your big categories that you have to think about. Friend zone, beta male orbiting, and sexual harassment, and how to identify whether you're there, and how to get out of it, stay away from it, and avoid it. Okay? So let's talk about the friend zone. Okay? The friend zone is, and everybody's been there, it's kind of a category where women who are using hypergamy to monkey branch, they keep guys in the friend zone around them to do all their shit for them. And it's a thing where they're waiting to see what your potential is going to give. They're waiting to see if you're going to bear fruit as someone that they can then, take under their wing, so to speak, or that they've decided now you're a 7. And the way to think about it is, there's a comedian out there, Bill Burr, and he tells a story about the friend zone as basically being, you're running a marathon, and these girls are all waving at you at the beginning of the marathon, and they don't say anything to you. But then you get to the end of the marathon, and right before the finish line, all of those same girls that were waving at you, they've all gotten in their car, and they've driven to the finish line, and they're all at the finish line, and they're going, I'll suck your dick, I'll suck your dick, I'll suck your dick, I'll suck your dick. And you see all the guys that are crossing the finish line, these women are going, I'll suck your dick, I'll suck your dick, I'll suck your dick, I'll suck your dick. And it's because now you've finished the marathon, your potential has become elevated, and they're going to jump onto your opportunistic status because now you're a winner. When you were at the beginning, they just wanted to friend zone you, but then as soon as you're crossing the finish line at the end of that marathon, your status, your potential has come through, and your opportunistic status has increased, and they're right there. I'll suck your dick. I'll suck your dick. I love you now. I love you now. And you're like, where did these women come from? You know, where did they come out? Well, they had you in the friend zone the whole time, right? So, it's like a big fishing net. The friend zone is their big fishing net that they're choosing from, and that they're picking. You know, oh, that one's not big enough. Throw it back, and it goes back into the friend zone until you grow big enough that they want you. That's really the way to think about the friend zone. But don't be in the friend zone. I'll tell you a story about the friend zone from me. Okay, I knew this girl since I was 15 years old. I was banging her when I was 15 years old. And, you know, we banged, you know, all through my teens and my 20s. I'd come back on leave from the military, and we'd bang and get hotels and stuff like that. And, you know, I'd have girlfriends and she'd have boyfriends and stuff like that, but we still managed to get together. And we were always kind of in this thing, and I didn't know what it was in my 20s. I just, you know, called her up and we did our thing. We went whatever. Well, I was always the money man for her. I paid for the hotels. I paid for the dinners. I paid for the drinks. You know, I took her different places or whatever. And I was always the money man for her, and she was always sex for me. You know, it was kind of like a prostitution thing. Well, we were literally like all the way, I think I was 32 or 33 years old, and I was coming back on a vacation with her, and about 3 days into this vacation, I realized that I wasn't getting laid anymore. We were in the same hotel room, and she wouldn't let me touch her. And we went on this trip to Europe, and I was like, you know, something's weird about this. We're doing all the stuff that she wants to do. We're going around taking pictures of cows and stuff like that. She won't let me. She won't take any pictures of me. She won't let anybody take any pictures of us together on this vacation, which is kind of sketchy, which made me think, oh, she's either married or has a boyfriend now that she didn't tell me about. And it just occurred to me, I was her physical security system. She wanted to go on this trip to Europe, into some dangerous areas of Europe, you know, and see the sights and do her thing, but she wanted me there next to her as physical security. That's all I was. I was a 6'3", 235-pound security guard, bodyguard for her to go on this vacation. Well, you know, it's costing me $8,000. I kind of want to, you know, see some of the stuff that I want to see. But it took me about 2 or 3 days to realize what I was to her, right? She used me to be her physical security. Well, after that, third day, I was gone. I was out of there. My own hotel room, hit the road, started going to see the stuff I wanted to see, Stonehenge and the Louvre, Windsor Castle, you know, all the stuff that I wanted to see in England and France. And I just left her in the dust. So realizing that, you know, on the flight back out of Heathrow back to the United States, I said to myself, you know, I'm not gonna call her or deal with her or call her back or anything after this vacation is over. And literally 15 years, never heard from her for 15 years. This is a beautiful thing about being old, is you see this stuff going from 15 years old all the way to being 50 years old, and you see the arc of how these women act over their entire life. 15 years later, Facebook request, friend request from so-and-so girl, right? And I'm like, what the fuck does she want after all these fucking years? So I click, we get on, we get to talking, blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know, she said, oh, we're such good friends, and, you know, we're you know, we always had such good times, and blah, 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 all this stuff. And I said, you know, so-and-so, we were never friends. I said, you just used me when you needed me for money or protection or whatever. And I said, and I'll prove it to you that we were never mutual friends. And you should do this with women. Do this outright with women that say that they're your friends or whatever. I said, if you can pull up a single receipt, talk about a single time, mention a single dinner, a pitcher of beer, a gift, a birthday present, anything that you bought for me over the last 35 years that you've known me since you were 15 years old, I will say we're friends. And I'll tell you what, I can come up with 100 times where I bought beer for you all night, dinner, took you on vacation, did all of this stuff. So, yes, I was a friend to you, but you were not a friend to me. And you know what? The next day, unfriended. She didn't want to hear it because she couldn't come up with a single time in 35 years where she had ever bought so much as a beer for me. And she knew the hustle was up. When I called her out on it, she knew the hustle was up. So that's the friend zone. That's what you got to avoid. Don't buy shit for them. Don't buy them drinks. Don't buy them dinner. Don't take them on vacations. You know, especially if they're not giving it up because they're just friend zoning you, waiting for the potential, right? Opportunistic status. That's what they're waiting for, is your opportunistic status. Once you cross the finish line, oh my God, I'll suck your dick now. Now I'll suck your dick. Right? Okay, let's talk about the second one. Beta orbiters. Now, beta orbiters, that's the hope hustle. They're these men that women keep around at work, you know, friends of friends, and they orbit around them to do shit for them. You know, to do the hard, heavy work, to move. You know, when it's time to move, call up all the beta orbiters, you know, and all the big guys come over and help them move because they can't do it themselves. Oh, I can't reach this on the shelf. Go get Jimmy down in supply closet to come and move this stuff. You know, they don't be a beta orbiter. They're going to use you and suck up your time and give you the hope hustle that you're going to get your foot in the door to have sex with them. Okay? You're 5 seconds away from sex. You know, that's the hope hustle. You know, oh, if you do this for me, you know, maybe we'll go out, we'll do, you know, don't play into it. So if you're, you know, and the thing about beta male orbiters is they want you to stay single. So they will give you terrible dating advice. If you go to them and try to have socialization or kind of talk to them about, oh, I'm having these problems with it, they will give you the most terrible advice about other women because they want you to stay single because they want to keep that hope hustle going. They want to keep you in the hustle. They want to keep you as a mark because you're their workhorse at work or, you know, at church or wherever it is, up at the Eagles Club or the Moose Club, if the women's auxiliary, they need you to cook or whatever, just say no. No, you get your women to freaking cook. I'm not cooking for you or whatever. The hope hustle. Okay. So that's the two categories that you got to make sure that you don't fall into. No friend zone stuff, no beta male orbiters. Okay? And beta male orbiters, I want to talk one more thing about that, and that's your Facebook validators. Okay? Facebook validators are a type of beta male orbiter. Okay? We all have those friends, those female friends that post the pretty kittens and, oh, I did this, and here's me in my bikini and stuff like that. And all they're doing is they're looking for validation. They want the attention from you as a beta male orbiter. You know, they could even be married, have a boyfriend, be engaged or whatever, and you'll see them posting all of this stuff about themselves on Facebook. They want you to click the like button and say, oh, you look so pretty. Oh, you look so nice. Oh, you're so hot. Oh, I'd love to marry you. Because they want all of that validation. When you give them that validation, you're becoming a beta male orbiter for them. You're doing you're value signaling to them that you're going to orbit them and you're going to tell them whatever they want to hear. I ignore all of those things, and I go for this, you know, the political stuff. And on Facebook, if you post something political or religious or stuff like that, I'll analyze it and I'll give you good feedback. But the generic fashion, bullshit that's non-functional, that doesn't do anything except you trying to increase your social value on Facebook, I don't care. Posting shit about your kids, about how awesome your kids were in the school play, I don't give a fuck. That should be on your kids' Facebook, not your Facebook, right? So don't validate them. Don't validate their petty, asinine bullshit. Just don't do it. But realize that Facebook is what they use to create and identify a lot of their beta orbiters. Okay? So enough about that. Let's talk about the big spot where you can get hurt at this point as a blue belt, and that's sexual harassment. Now people kind of think of rape, and then sexual harassment. Don't think about it like that, man, because sexual harassment, these women, this gynocentric system has spots for you to get hammered at every single level. Even though, it doesn't matter how much interaction that you have with women, there's a spot where you can get hammered. You can have less and less and less and less, but I'm telling you, even at blue belt level, you're not even having sex with them anymore. You're not going on dates anymore. You're just dealing with them at work. Sexual harassment can ruin your life. Knew a chief in the Navy. 22 years in the Navy. Okay? He was actually a senior chief. Did a counseling session with a fireman. 18 years old. 3 months, 6 months she had in the Navy. He closed the door on his office. Okay? And did the counseling session with her one-on-one. Now, counseling sessions are common in the Navy. They happen all the time. She went to the captain, and there was no other female chief there or anybody present during the counseling session. Went to the captain of the ship and said, "This chief sexually harassed me. He shut the door on our counseling session, made me feel uncomfortable, claustrophobic, as if he may be coming after me in a sexual way." Chief never touched her, never kissed her, never asked her out, never made a pass at her, never groped her, never did anything, just straight up counseling. But the way she felt caused him to get reduced to E1 and get kicked out of the military. He was removed from the military after 22 years. Fought 3 wars for our country. Gulf War I, Gulf War II, and Afghanistan. The guy's gone because of some cunt who's 18 years old and felt dirty because he shut the door to counsel her. And she was a fuck up, by the way. She couldn't do her fucking job. So anyways, and she ended up getting pregnant and going to shore duty and taking up a bunch of shore duty billets for guys that were due to go to that had been at sea for 3 or 4 years. She got pregnant on the ship and ended up going to shore duty. More gynocentrism. Even in the military, there's gynocentrism. Okay? So, sexual harassment can ruin your life. I know a guy that worked for UPS, had 20 years in, started dating one of the secretaries. Broke it off after a while, didn't like her. She went batshit fucking crazy. Wrote him up for sexual harassment. Who lost their job? Not her. He lost his job. 20 years working for UPS. Gone. And she was still contacting him after he's sitting at home unemployed, collecting unemployment, telling him how much she loved him after she had cost him a 20-year freaking career at a large corporation. So women don't care. Hypergamy doesn't care. Gynocentrism doesn't care. Sexual harassment can end your fucking life. And it can hit you financially. And remember, we're stacking cash. We are stacking cash so that we can get economic independence and separation at this point, right? All right, so how do we fight our sexual harassment? How do we prevent the friend zone? How do we not do the beta orbiter? Same 3 techniques that I've been talking about since white belt: time, distance, and shielding. These are your defense mechanisms for dealing with women at all levels of MGTOW black, all the way up to black belt. Okay? Time as a blue belt. Don't move for her. Okay? Don't be a moving van. Don't be two men in a van. Don't help her move. If she moves from one office to another, don't help her move. Don't be physically in any way help her. Okay? Don't do any lifting for her at work or anything like that. Don't do anything physical. And physical touch, forget about it. Elbows and knees, that's it. Maintain your space, but don't, no neck, no shoulder. Don't, you know you can't grab her ass or her tits. Don't freaking touch her and stay away from her. Have separations, have cubicles between you, have things between your lunch boxes, whatever, your hat. Take your hat off, put your hat between you and her. Put your hand in your hat like that so she can't press up on you. Anything like that, wherever you have to do it, Doesn't matter. Don't let her physically touch you and don't physically touch her. Distance. Okay? Now this is a double because this also falls into what I'm going to talk about later, the herd mentality and economic independence, right? Move to the country. Get out of the city. This is how you're going to use distance to protect you at Blue Belt. Okay? Just put that on your mind right now. I'm going to talk about shielding real quick, and then we'll go back to distance, and we'll go into the next thing. Okay? Shielding, no house events. Don't bring women to your house. No parties. No work parties at your house. No barbecues. None of that stuff. You don't want them to know where you live. You don't want them to see your status. You don't want them to see how much money you have. You don't want them to see any of that stuff. Okay? And I did this. For my entire professional career, I wasn't known at all by my first name and my last name. I was known by my initials. Because initials have no sexual connotation to them. So I would recommend this immediately after you graduate from college when you get your first job and you get your plaque on your office or on your cubicle or whatever. First two initials. AJ, BJ, RK, DJ, DM. If your name is Jones, make sure the name that goes on your office is DA Jones or PA Cajones or BJ Rooster, whatever. First two initials, don't use your name, okay? It makes them very hard to find you, and it makes it hard for them to know if you're a man or a woman, okay? If it says Jose Cajones on your office, they know you're a guy. If it says Isabella Suck-a-Dick, they know you're a woman, okay? Use initials in your professional career at all times. And I did that. And I did it under the guise that I was an auditor. I mean, I went in a lot of times doing consulting, and people got fired over the stuff that I said. I would audit a company for 6 months or whatever, and then, a lot of people had to get fired. Just like the two guys in Office Space that went in and interviewed everybody, I did that job. And I made a lot of money doing it, but a lot of people lost their jobs because of my recommendations. And I didn't need those people that were losing their jobs to come to my house and, with shotguns telling me about how they lost their job and it's all my fault. So I did it under that guise, but it helped me out a lot in sexual harassment things too. Okay? So let's go back to distance now. That's your shielding. No house events. Use your initials in the professional workplace at all. I don't care if you're a plumber. Just use your initials, Distance. Move to the country. This is the beginning. Okay? This is the beginning of the real hard MGTOW travel. Why am I moving to the country? Here's the city, my friend. The city is CITY, a conglomeration of idiots taking the yoke. That is what the city is. The city is a gynocentric cesspool, okay, where they want to keep you dependent. Okay? Oh, but that's where all the money is. That's where all the jobs are. That's where everything is. That's where, yes, that's true. You don't have to move out of the city, but what you need to do is get yourself economically separated from the city. Get yourself a place in the woods, in the country, that is independent. Okay, when you live in the city, you got a water bill. Go to the city and say, I want to put in a well, so I don't have to pay water bill. No, you can't do that. You have Consumers Power pipeline of natural gas coming right into your house to your furnace. Tell them, I want to put a propane tank out there and buy my own propane and have propane heat and propane. No, you can't do it. Not allowed in the city because they want you dependent. Okay? You are a blue belt. Okay? You are right here, buddy. Blue belt. Economically separated, economically independent. That's what you're trying to get to. Okay? Now, my recommendation is, and I base this on what I did, my freaking cabin. I was a landlord. I had a bunch of places down in the city. I worked in the city. I lived in the city in my houses. But the whole time I had that going on, I was paying off a hunting cabin out in the woods away from everything else. And that comes in to what I want to talk about next. How are you going to get economic independence? Economic independence is going to fall into these 5 categories. And if you want to, write them down. I'll say them twice. Food independence, shelter, housing. Energy independence, communication, and transportation independence. You want to be completely independent from the government and from other people in those 5 categories. Okay? The first one to get is housing because it's the most expensive. And once you get it, it will free up the most money for you. Now, this is why I told you to stack cash. Okay? I told you to stack cash so that you can buy your independence. I wasn't telling you to stack cash at white belt and yellow belt and green belt so that you could get chicks. No. I was telling you to stack cash because I want you to buy your way out of the gynocentric system. Okay? And how are you going to buy your way out? You're going to not have a mortgage. You're going to buy your cabin or your house cash. You're going to buy your car or your truck cash. You're going to get your 3 or 4 acres. You're going to have your own garden. You're going to have your own livestock, chicken, pigs, cows, whatever. That's your food independence, okay? If you get a couple cows, okay, 30 chickens, some goats, and a pig every year, you will have more food, milk, cheese, eggs, bacon, whatever you want, and a big freezer. And guess what? You don't have to worry about Monsanto. You don't have to worry about the steroids that are being put in your food. You don't, and you're sitting here, Rooster, you're going off on a crazy tangent. MGTOW is all about women and gynocentrism and all this stuff. It is. But that's the system. In the city, that is the gynocentric system that you are in that's going to keep you enslaved. Okay? You have to get out of that system. This system in the city where the jobs are exists because of women's socialization, keeping up with the Joneses. They want you to have the big job. Then you have to have the nice car and the big house because your neighbors do and all that stuff. All that stuff goes on in the city, and it's all dependency related. Okay? The city and women want to keep you dependent on the government. I want to get you independent from women, independent from the government. And, you have your own freedom and independence, okay? So food, energy, okay? Solar, get away from Consumers Power. Solar panels, windmills, they've been around for 100 years. I have solar panels on my cabin. The electricity that's going through this laptop, that I'm sending out to you right now is free. Okay? I got a windmill in the back, right by the chicken coop. Spins all freaking day long. Free electricity. Goes right to the shed. Charges up the batteries at night. When the sun goes out, the wind picks up. Got even more electricity. Big screen TV. Watch it anytime I want to. Okay? And it's all free. Doesn't cost me a nickel. Okay? I'm completely independent. Okay? Energy, communications, transportation. The second thing you want to pay off after you get your house paid off is your truck or your vehicle. Okay? Once you get those two things, your housing independence and your transportation independence, your costs, your bills every month should be about 60% less. Most people on just their rent and their car payment and insurance and registration and homeowners insurance and PIP and mortgage insurance and all that shit that goes with it, 60% of your check goes to those two things right there. And the more you make, the bigger house and the nicer car you get. Because gynocentrism, because Lady Macbeth says, oh, we made more, so we need more. Bullseye effect, right? And what I'm saying is minimize. Functional, fashionable, functional. Just keep it at the functional level. You need a house. You need 800 square feet. That's all you need, okay? You need a kitchen. You need a bedroom, okay? I look at my house. Every single room in my house, my cabin, gets used every day. Every piece of furniture in my cabin gets used every day. Every piece of exercise, weightlifting equipment, barbells that I have get used every day. Okay? My stove gets used every day. My refrigerator is full. My freezer is full of free food and vegetables that I grew or killed or hunted myself. Okay? My electricity is free. I don't have anything more than exactly what I need. And it's more than enough. All of my entertainment items get used at least once every other day. All my guitars get played at least 2-3 times a day. All my video games get played. My TV gets used all the time, every day. My kayak gets used at least 3 times a week. My canoe gets used at least once a week. Okay? All of that stuff, functional stuff, entertainment stuff for me, right? But here's your five categories again. Housing first, transportation, communication, energy. Okay, you want your free energy and you want your free food. And don't buy it in the city, because the city is a conglomeration of idiots that are taking the yoke. Okay? I can prove to you the dependence thing in the city. Look at Flint, Michigan right now. I have no problem with my water well. You know, it's free. I paid for it once. I get free water. I don't get a water bill. Flint, Michigan, there's 300,000 people and their kids being poisoned every day because the government, because gynocentrism, because that's where the jobs are, because that's where the conglomeration of people are. Okay? It's going on right now. Flint, Michigan is, 2 hours from where I live right now? But it's a city, okay? And it's all gynocentrism. So I've been saying all along, function, fashion, look at what's fake and what's real, okay? Look at outside validation and what it causes. Cities are just a huge conglomeration of people that are looking for outside validation. Hermits like me that live in the country don't give a fuck. I have my own inside validation. When I'm sitting here at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon playing my guitar and watching all these motherfuckers on the I-75 bumper to bumper trying to get to McDonald's and have a freaking cheesy hamburger so that they can get back to work in a half an hour, I'm laughing my ass off, right? Because all my shit's paid for. All right? Now, and that goes to something else that I want to talk about. We've all heard the saying about you either buy in or you sell out. you're either a sellout or you're buy-in. Okay, sellouts like 50 Cent. Dude's a sellout, right? Started off as a thug, tough dude, blah, 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 blah. Used his thugness, sold out. Now he's like a TV producer. Mark Wahlberg, the same thing. Oh, he's a tough kid from Southie, punched an old Chinese man, knocked his eye out when he was a teenager. You know, tough Boston kid, blah, blah, blah. Sold out. Now he's a TV producer, a movie producer. He's a multimillionaire. He sold out. People that bought in are people like Bill Gates. Went to college, did all that stuff, built the biggest company in the world, Super Brain. He figured out what the system was and he bought in. Okay? Those aren't the only two ways to get ahead in life. Oh, cancer. The MGTOW way is the third way. Buy out. Okay? You don't buy in, you don't sell out. You buy out. You stack cash working at freaking McDonald's. You stack cash working at Walmart, wherever you can. You buying into the system just long enough to get your stack of cash so that you can buy your way out of the system completely. You understand what I'm saying? Buy your way out and become an owner. Don't rent for your whole life. Become an owner. Okay? And that goes right along with what I was saying before about building your own life raft. That's what we're doing here as MGTOWs. That's what I'm trying to teach you how to do. You're on the Titanic. Okay? You're stuck on the Titanic. The ship's going down. But if you build or buy or bring your own freaking life raft, you don't have to fight that gynocentric system. You don't have to go up and fight the guy that's not letting men onto the life raft. You just go to the back, get on the life raft, and paddle out on your own little life raft. Okay? All right. Let's talk about defense. Let's talk about offense. Oh my God, Rooster! Rooster! Rooster, we're finally gonna get to go on the mat, and we're gonna get to kick some fucking ass. He's gonna teach us some fucking offense. We're gonna learn some fucking kung fu. Awesome, right? Enough kung fu. Yeah, finally at blue belt, we're gonna let you on the mat. You're not just gonna do time, distance, and shielding. We're gonna teach you some offense. Okay? I'm gonna teach you one tool of offense. Okay? Physical presence. This is it. It's all you got to do is just stand there, be there. Don't leave. Don't cower. When stuff happens, own it and be there. Okay? Now, how do I mean that? I mean, use your knees and elbows. When you go to a meeting, spread your stuff out. Push it out. Take up as much space as you can. Just be big. And it's very intimidating to women. Just be big. That's your offense. If you're not going to do anything over the top, you're not going to do any real offense. You're just going to be a man, grow a beard, be physically intimidating. Okay? Now, here's the thing about fear. A lot of men use fear. Fear works on other men. Intimidation works on other men. Women, you got to be very careful with fear. And I try to get this through men's head. Fear turns women on. You can't use fear against women. It's like going in to the boxing match with Marvin Hagler, but he says the referee says Marvin can't hit you, but you can hit him. I'm not afraid of Marvin Hagler anymore because he can't hit me. Women know that they can rile you up and get you angry if you try to fear them into anything. So don't use fear. What works 10 times better than fear is two other things. Discomfort and disgust. Okay? I want you to say that. Fear, don't use the tool. Don't use intimidation on women. Don't use fear. It's just going to get you in trouble. But discomfort and disgust works awesome on women. The freaking hate to be in any kind of discomfort whatsoever. And they really are turned off by disgust. Okay? Cleaning the toilet, cleaning the freaking outhouse, getting dirty, anything nasty, greasy, they can't stand it. So make sure you're like that. Okay? And discomfort. Any kind of environmental discomfort that you can cause to them. Turning the AC up higher when it's cold. Turning the heat on when it's hot, when it's 90 degrees outside. Leave the AC off, man, so their discomfort and their makeup is dripping. Okay? Turn the lights on really bright. Anything you can do at work, okay? I'm going to tell you another super good tool, maybe not at work, but use it at the bar, or use it anywhere where there's a social gathering and you're dealing with feminists or women that you just can't stand, okay? This is a perfect tool, okay? Accidentally spilling your drink on them, okay? It creates disgust and discomfort at the same time. And there's no fear involved, right? You're not intimidating them. Some stupid bitch starts blabbing off at a social gathering that you're at, a work party or whatever. Okay, think about this. You just leave. You just don't disagree with her. Don't argue with her. Just go get yourself a thing of punch. Just walk back over 5 minutes later while she's still running her mouth blabbing, and just go, oh shit, and spill your bread punch all over her shirt. Okay? Her day, her night is fucking ruined. Socially, she's an outcast. She has to leave the party. She has to change her clothes. She has to drive all the way back home, get a different pair of clothes, and then maybe come back to the party an hour later, if she even does it. Her night is over. You had to do nothing. It's not even your fault. It was just an accident. Oh, I'm so sorry. Don't pat her or offer to pat her off or anything like that. Just stand back and look at her and watch her socially go down the toilet. Her night is freaking over. Best offensive tool physically that you can use against women in any situation. Spill ketchup on them, squirt ketchup on them, squirt mustard on them, barbecue sauce, accidentally throw a freaking chicken wing at them with barbecue sauce all over it. Discomfort and disgust works 10 times better against women. And you can come up with your own. I would like you actually in the comment section to come up with some disgust and discomfort things that you've done in the past, because I'm really interested about this. But don't use fear, okay? So, that is some offense for you. I've given you some offense. Be a physical presence. Spread your stuff out on your desk. When you go to a meeting, take up 2 or 3 seats with all of your presentation stuff. Use your elbows and your knees. Be wide. Be stretched out all the time. Women freaking hate that. They can't stand it, okay? All right. Last thing I'm going to talk about. This is going to be really long, but this is important. I'm going to talk about the herd. And I've already mentioned it quite a bit in a roundabout way. But I want you to understand the herd mentality. This is the herd mentality. It's basically just a bell curve. If you know statistics and you know the bell curve, you know how it works, right? But the idea behind the herd is the weak over here, if someone's mentally disabled or retarded or can't do something as well or whatever, old, the weak, antelopes or whatever, the herd slows down and pulls the weak up. And human beings have a herd mentality. When someone's hurt, when someone's sick, it's that sympathy aspect and brings them out, and it's the natural tendency for the herd to pull the weak up. Okay, we all know about, the guy, his wife left him and their house burned down, he's got 3 kids, here, donate, put your money in the jar, and then we're going to give it to him to bring him back up to the herd, right? What they don't tell you about the herd mentality is that it also does the opposite. The strong, the independent, the self-reliant, the individuals, what do they do with those people? They pull them down. Okay? They pull them down. And I'm going to use so many classic examples of this that so you'll understand. Okay? People use group dynamics for decision making and stuff like that now in big businesses. And they'll say, be a team player. Okay? Well, this is the team. Right here. Here's the team. But if I'm better than the team, and my ideas are better than the team, my ideas aren't going to get out there. They're going to get pulled into shitty, mediocre ideas that everybody has that are safe. Okay? Thomas Edison did not use a focus group to invent the light bulb. He did it himself. He did not use the herd. Okay? Now, when you want to be a MGTOW, what we're fighting is the herd. This is you. Maybe not now, but if you do all of the things and you get your independence, I've told you all of these ways to get your independence, and now you're up here, you're going to disconnect economically. That's the first real step. The more independent that you get, the more that you become on the strong side, the more the herd is going to try to pull you back. They're going to try to pull you into the city. They're going to try to pull you back down into Mediocreville. Okay? It happens all the time. It happens all the time. They're going to try to pull you back in. Don't let them. Okay? Tiger Woods was the #1 golfer for years and years and years and years and years. Then he had a wife and a kid. Dropped out of the 100, out of the top 100. Okay? Why? Because the wife and the kid became the herd and they pulled him down. Okay? Tesla. Same freaking thing. Albert Einstein paid his wife the Nobel Prize to go away. A lot of people don't realize this. They were married, and he realized that his intellectual capacity was being restricted by her sucking his synergy. Just sucking like a vampire, sucking his intellectual ability. He told her that if she freaking left and took the kid and went away and left him alone, that when he won the Nobel Prize for physics, he would give her the money, $1 million. Hypergamy kicked in. She said, fuck it, I'll leave. She left. He went back to becoming a quiet, nice hermit that had plenty of time to fucking think. And he won the Nobel Prize, and he gave her the $1 million. Okay? The herd is female nature. Okay? And you are up here. You are strong. Once you get your independence, the herd is going to try to pull you back down. Stay up here, man. Don't let them pull you back down. Do whatever you can. But anytime that you're interacting with a woman and you're not on the weak side, you are a strong, independent man. Remember, she's going to try to pull you back into the herd. Okay? The light bulb was not invented by a focus group. It was invented by a single man working alone, using his own ideas. All right. So, what else do I have to say about being a blue belt? That's about it. Oh, money's not freedom. Yeah. I have it right up here. Money is not freedom. I told you to stack cash. Okay? Independence down here is freedom. This right here is where you get your freedom. You got to get to this point right here. Okay, I can't emphasize it enough. Independence and separation economically from the gynocentric system is what's going to get you your freedom. All right. That's all I got, guys. If you have any comments or questions, put them down in the comment section. I love dissent. And as always, take it easy.